Whoa, like it's funny that I just got surprised that my live stream started. Hey everybody, don't text and live stream at the same time. Welcome. So I gotta confess, first of all, I'm an idiot. For those of you that were following Twitter, for whatever reason, I was like really tired or something. I tweeted out at like an hour and a half ago that I was going live in 30 minutes, even though I wasn't. And so hopefully that wasn't confusing to any of you. I'm an idiot. So I got some special guests today. We are just going to go ahead and bring them on. First, I'm going to bring on somebody that most of you already know because she's been a regular guest here. And that is, of course, Jenny, Lesbian Nerdy. What's up?
Not much. Hello.
I got to say, that face that like I put up on your profile, it's like the stunned Lesbian Nerdy floating head. Like that was like the... Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
I thought it was an interesting choice on your part.
Yeah, well, hey, it's what I had. So, and my second special guest. Now, this is actually really exciting for me. This is a lot of fun. So this particular individual I've actually followed on Twitter for a while because I think I saw him release like a Wheel of Time booktube video a long time ago. And I usually follow new readers because it's fun to do that. Posted a video reacting to the show. I thought it was really cool. I was like, hey, why don't you come on? And then I found out, like, again, first time reader, and I think he's on, well, he'll tell us about this, book 7 or 8 or something like that. And it's always a lot of fun to quiz new readers. And this is somebody that you all should be following. So whether you're watching this live or you're watching it later, he's going to be releasing videos. So I'll let him tell you about who the hell he is. But Blake, the Book Eater, welcome.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Of course. So before we start, normally I'll ask people like who the hell they are.
Yes.
Before I ask you that though,
yes,
do you really eat books?
Basically, well, it's because I'm such a fast reader that like my mom and like my family, like when I was younger, they're like, you go through books so fast, like why don't you like take time to slow down and digest them? And I'm like, no, I binge them, I go through them. So like to me, like when I'm talking about like I consume a book, I like inhale it, like it's just gone.
I feel that, and that's good because you're a booktuber. It would really be you'd really be a shitty booktuber if it took you like a month to read every book, and so you like let one video out a month. I don't know.
Yeah,
just
you know, I'm kind of bad at releasing videos anyways. But
well,
and I come back, I'm like, yeah, I read like 30 books. Let me have like 30 seconds to talk about everyone because I can't remember them.
Making videos is a lot of work.
It really is. Honestly, filming isn't that bad. It's the editing. I'll like
film a video, it's totally the
editing. and then it will. I'll like have like hours of footage or whatever, and I'm like, when am I gonna edit that? And then it just doesn't happen. So.
Yeah. It's
I am going to be better about it this year though. So
you can always look. You always got to hire out. By the way, we have 69 people watching. Heck yeah.
Nice.
Okay. So let's. I'm such a child. All right, now, Blake, who the hell are you, and why should these people like? What do you do? We kind of already explained this, but do it anyway.
Yeah. So I'm a young man. I just shut up. I just graduated college last year, and so now I'm like working full time, which is making it a little harder to read. But you know, I'm trying to get into it. I'm a writer, like outside of my full time job. That's just money. But yeah, so eventually I want to be writing some of these things that people read. And yeah, this is the book that I have to read next. Path of Daggers, number 8. I'm finished. I'm up through book 7. And yeah, sometimes it's honestly, I think after like book maybe 4, maybe 5, like they start to kind of blur together because like I like them a lot, but it almost feels like an episode in an ongoing TV show. And so it's hard to like distinguish the events that happen in this book as opposed to the other book. And then
that's what I was asked. Like, I'm very good with what happens in like books 1 through 5. And then after that, it's just like, what? Okay. So I need to know what happened in the last book you read so that I can not spoil you.
Yeah. Is this an okay place to talk about?
Oh, hell. Well, please. Yes.
I mean,
normally this is like full, like say whatever the hell you want spoilers. Like I usually just don't care. But since you're here, we're gonna like not do that. We're gonna
okay. So
yeah.
I at the end of Crown of Swords, Rand defeated Ishmael. He got the crown. He's like, I'm the emperor. Lan met up with Nynaeve, and they're at Abu Dar, and they just met up with the Aes Sedai who aren't Aes Sedai. They're like the kin, I think, or something.
Okay.
They're and then I met Cadsuane in this book, and she's fantastic. I think it was this book. Maybe she came in the last book. I don't know, but she's great. And I'm trying to remember more. Oh, and also, there's a lot of angst with Min in this book.
Okay.
This is going to be a fun conversation. So first of all, I saw Jenny just about have a conniption when you said that Rand defeated Ishamael. Did you misspeak, or is that what you?
Hold on.
Was it Samael?
Samael. Thank you. Okay, I was just like, what? Yeah. Okay.
I was like, are we going to have to pretend that he? I don't know. I was like,
I have the book in front of me for a reason. So
okay.
Yeah. Samael, they do. I mean, I can see that. That's a easy tongue slip there.
Yeah.
So here's the funny part. Like most of us are pretty prolific readers, and most of us read lots of stuff before we started really reading Wheel of Time.
Yeah.
And then I'm not saying this will happen to you, but Wheel of Time ruined a lot of fantasy for me because I read a lot of fantasy. So I've read Game of Thrones, I've read the Cosmere, I've read so I don't mean to like it's hard for me to read stuff now and be like, yeah, it's not Wheel of Time. Like, because most of us will just reread the series. Like, this is the most rereadable series I think I've ever seen.
I will concur with that. Yeah.
You will find something new every single time you pick up these books.
Like, that's why I'm excited because my goal is to try to finish the series this year. I don't know if that's gonna happen.
Oh, you'll get it done. You'll get it. If you're a book eater,
Well,
you're gonna
here's
eat
the
these
thing.
books.
Every time I read a Wheel of Time book, it takes me about 3.5 weeks to read a book.
Uh-huh.
A Wheel of Time book, just because like they're like really dense, but also just like the description, like it's hard to, it's not written at a pace that's meant to be like kind of blown through. You have to like kind of take your time with it. And yeah, sometimes finding the time for these books is hard. Just because I have an app that tracks like how long it takes me to finish books. And like usually books are pretty fast. Let me see my Wheel of Time reads. They're pretty chunky. I think one of them was like, yeah, so the Crown of Swords took me 16 hours to finish. Lord of Chaos took me 27 hours. Ugh, yeah, they're chunkers.
You're basically, you should just listen to the audiobooks at that rate.
I can't focus on audiobooks. Like I wish I could, but like I can only listen to audiobooks like if I'm driving somewhere, like if I'm on a road trip, if I'm like going up north or something like that. But otherwise, like if I'm just listening, I will like do other things and then like forget everything that I just heard.
Some people are like that. Yeah, I'm the opposite. I actually retain much more when I'm listening than when I'm reading. But
I do both. I used to not be able to do audiobooks, but I can now. I do a lot of them. And that's when Audible became a sponsor. I'm totally joking.
That would have been really smooth.
Look, like people already accuse me of that shit. So like I would never stoop so low to like oh shoot, I hit the wrong that was the wrong
slip
button.
of the finger.
You know what I meant to do? I meant to do this. If you guys want to follow Blake on YouTube, this is where to do it.
Thank you.
Yes, and you should subscribe to Blake. Don't leave now and do it, just do it later. And you know what? If you're not subscribed to Jenny, go check out Lesbian Nerdy also.
Those graphics are so cool.
They are.
Yeah, I spent hours uploading the template and I didn't make that. I could make people think that I designed that, but it's not real. So we're going to talk a lot about the books. I want to get to the books because I think that will be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But I want to first start with what drew me to having you on in the first place. Let's talk about the TV show. Real quick. So like you've read through what all the content that we're seeing in the TV show. Have you read New Spring, by the way?
I haven't read New Spring because somebody told me, or like I have been, I was going to read it a little earlier, but then there was so many threads about like when you should read it, when you should not. And then eventually I decided that I'm going to read it after book 10, which is like, I think the publication
order.
Yeah. So that way, a lot of people were like, if you're not sure, just do it then. And so you
could read it now and be fine.
Yeah.
But
you've met Cadswain already.
Yes.
Yeah.
You could read it now. Yes. You could read it now and have no issues, but yeah, I would just read it then. Okay, so like you've read most of the content that like supplied the basis for the show so far. So like
very loose basis.
What are your very overall thoughts on it? Like
it's interesting because the first time that I watched the show, I watched the first 2 episodes with my friend who's actually currently reading Eye of the World. So she was about halfway through the book and we are like, let's watch the first couple episodes. And then we didn't want to watch the 3rd episode because we weren't sure if like that was going to be past where she had read. So we only watched the first 2. She's also a writer and she's also a huge fantasy fan and we both did not like it. However, then I went home like for the holidays and I wanted to finish watching Wheel of Time because I had like taken a long break from it and the series was like almost done. So I was like, I'll just binge it. And my mom is a huge fantasy fan. She loves Lord of the Rings. Like she watches those movies like every year. And so I was like, hey mom, do you want to watch the Wheel of Time? And she was like, sure. And so when I watched it with her, she loved it. Like she was obsessed with it. She like fell in love with it and couldn't stop ranting about it. And then, so it almost made me like recontextualize my thoughts about the show a little bit because like, you know, obviously she has never read the books. She doesn't really know anything about it. And so as like a completely new viewer to like the characters in the world, like she got super into it. So now I have kind of more like of a mixed opinion of it. Like I definitely think there's some really good things about the show. And then I definitely have some very critical thoughts about the show. But hopefully season 2, they can get on their crap because Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's frustrating. Like I was actually at the premiere in London. So like I watched the first episode and the second episode with the cast. Uh the and I remember like when I was watching the first episode, now you got to keep in mind like emotions were a little high because like we had just gone through this whole pomp and circumstance of like they brought giant way gates, we're in the middle of London, you got like red carpet, and then they got like Rosamund pumping us up and all this shit. So like you're excited, and then it's like Wheel of Time, I've been reading this series forever and it's finally on screen. So like I was so excited that I was emotional while I was watching it. And then after the first episode ended, I was kind of like, well, that was a bad ending. Like, and it was just like, here's the hindsight. If I look back on it, they just needed, as Brandon Sanderson put this, they just needed another half hour. And honestly, they could have given 15 more minutes. And I think you could have nailed, like, I wasn't as upset with the changes as much as I was, they made choices that I didn't necessarily understand. And I guess I'll put it that way. I was prepared for changes. You got to keep in mind, I've been covering this for 3 years.
Yeah.
I knew a lot of the changes that were coming. So it wasn't a like, oh, shocker, Layla is Perrin's wife. Like that wasn't a shocker. Right. So in any case, I agree with you though. Like I was a little underwhelmed. I thought the second episode picked up a bit. Like I thought it felt more like Wheel of Time.
Yeah.
I really think the series hit its stride in the middle.
Yes, I was about to say.
And
like honestly, I think 4 through 7, I was like completely happy with.
Yep.
And then episode 8 happened.
Yes, I've said so much about this because I've been pretty critical of it. Even though everybody thinks that I'm not, because apparently Amazon pays me. And I cannot imagine why anybody would think that Amazon pays me. So I'm joking. But no, they don't. And to be very clear, outside of an Audible affiliate. But I've been pretty critical of episode 8. But there are also, and I don't think these are excuses, because at the end of the day, they chose to release it. But there are they had to deal with a lot of bullshit.
A lot of extenuating circumstances with episode 8. So.
I definitely think COVID, and then also it definitely felt like some studio interference throughout.
Studio interference, losing 2 actors, and like it's a lot of, and losing a location, like they lost a lot.
Well, I think COVID, I think the underplayed part of this, and I think this actually, I saw I saw Matt from the Dusty Wheel posting this today. So there was some concept art of of like Faldara, right, in the Tarwin's Gap. The concept art and what we got, radically different. And we've already been told, like Kieran Donnelly, who was the director, said they had to basically recontextualize the whole thing they had planned.
Yeah.
So like the part I thought they were going to nail in my head before I watched episode 8, I thought they would nail the battle.
Yeah.
And then I thought they would royally fuck up the, I said a bad word.
You said it. I said it last time.
I thought they would royally screw up the Eye of the World. And I actually think they did the opposite. I think the Eye of the World did well. And I thought the battle was hot garbage. And
100%
but that
agree
that
with you
has to do with the fact they couldn't bring extras onto the set. Like the cast wasn't there. They couldn't go back to locations they filmed at before. Like COVID wrecked that. And they were already a year and a half behind.
Yeah, and that's the other, like people will say, like, I mean, I'm gonna disagree with you on one point, Nate, but like people will say like they released it. That's people's lives. Like people have set aside their lives. They can't just be like, okay, we actually need you all to set aside the next 5 months for when we can, like those are people's jobs and their lives. So they have to at a certain point just be like, we need to release you to go live your life.
Yeah, no, I also work in entertainment, and so I know a lot about the behind the scenes drama of a lot of things. So definitely a huge factor.
Now, Blake, one other thing you'll have to get used to being a guest on this live stream, and I can already tell that I would love to have you back at some point if you want to come back. He's probably like, never again with this asshole.
No,
but I have to introduce you to the main real topics of this live stream, this live show. Here we go.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody, we here at the Nae'Blis live show put on wigs for money, and you all got me a George Washington wig, which it's pretty.
That is sexy.
We've got Old Faithful,
Mm-hmm.
the Boris Johnson wig.
Oh my gosh.
And don't forget my mullet that some people labeled the Michael Jackson wig. I don't see it, but there we go. So I will put on wigs for money because I am a shill. Okay. Yeah, he's like, I am never coming back.
No, that's amazing. I love that.
If
I had wigs, I would wear them on my channel during.
Well, you have hair, so
fair enough.
All right, here we go.
Oh, there we go.
Here we go.
Yep, we got a wig already. There we go. It's the Boris.
Oh my god.
It's like a Boris with a side of Karen. That's what
amazing.
it is.
Yeah, it is. It originally it was a Karen wig.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's not my unit here has not been taken care of. So I don't brush it. I don't do any. I mean, I don't. Beth, I'll have to leave it on extra long.
Yeah.
But thank you guys for the wig donations. Okay, so overall, like, if you had to give it a number out of 10, first season,
I would give it like a 7. I think, just because like. I think, you know, I haven't been reading the series as long as all of you guys, but I mean, spending, you know, how many thousands of pages with the characters so far, like I love them so much. And so just seeing them on screen just like made me happy and giddy a little bit for the certain characters that they got really right. And so like that to me just like, like when like Nynaeve was on the screen, I was happy. It was great.
We are friends.
Yeah. No, Nynaeve has been my favorite character. It's so funny because like when I've been reading the series, like so many comments and reviews, they're like, Nynaeve is so annoying. Nynaeve is awful. I hate Nynaeve. And I'm like, I disagree. She is high key my favorite character in the series. And so I could see how some people think she might be annoying. I don't think she is. And so
you are talking to the two biggest Nynaeve stands in the fandom right here.
I'm in the right place.
You are in the right place. Now,
the way I describe Nynaeve, I will often say she's a strong flavor. I feel like she's like she's like cilantro, you know? So, for some people, she tastes like soap. For me, she is fantastic.
What's funny is I got to keep my mouth shut. I'm gonna spoil. Now I gotta. You accused me of being a child earlier. Just take a look at Hybrid Havoc's comment.
You did say this, and I did have a thought on that comment. Yes, you did say your unit hasn't been taken care. Nae'Blis. Those were words that came out of your mouth.
Is this one of those examples like we were talking about before the show?
Yes.
Guys, when I said my unit, I was talking. All right. Okay. So, let's transition off of the show and let's talk about the books. So far we'll talk about, we're going to spend the end of this. I want to hear you doing some predictions.
Oh boy.
That's always fun.
That's like the best part of new readers. It really is.
About a lot of things.
But I want to know, like, first of all, like, what has been your favorite book so far?
I think that's really hard because, again, I think they all like start to blend together a little bit. I think overall the book that I think books 2 and 3 really stood out to me as like I think I read like the first book took me a little bit to read, but I kind of blew through books 2 and 3 because like the narrative was so propulsive. And there's a lot of things happening and like reveals and stuff. I think around book 4 and 5 is when the pace started to slow down a little bit. Not like it was like super slow, but it took a lot more time, like with the characters and the moments and the worlds and that kind of stuff. So I really like the pace of books 2 and 3. And but I think my favorite moment, I forget the name, but it was the big battle with the Ashaman and in the field.
Dumais Wells?
Yes, Dumais Wells. Yeah, that reading that, I was like, holy, if this ever gets adapted in the way that I have it in my head, it will like make Game of Thrones look like child's play toys. And I'm sure I have better battles to come. So we'll see.
That's a fan favorite moment. So
for
that
reason,
is the moment in the series where you realize like how like absolutely fucking devastating the one power could be.
Did
like
it again.
I don't care. There are people literally like blowing up. Their brains are like flying everywhere. Perrin is throwing up because it's so disgusting.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying like that's the coolest part of it, but it's like it changes the paradigm of what war looks like. Right?
Yeah.
Like, what does a battle look like? And then you see like this group of men show up and it's like they defeat that. And like the Wheel of Time is a series that I think does such a great job. This is actually, not to go back to the TV show, this is something I feel like the TV show has struggled with. The Wheel of Time, the book series, has done such a great job with the power creep, because the characters do get insanely powerful, but it's subtle how fast it goes.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's so interesting because like certain, you know, like things like Egwene becoming the Amerlin seat, like and like all these characters getting their powers. It's weird because it feels so early in the series, because it's like, oh, I'm like not even halfway, but it's done so like slowly that like you feel like they've earned it. And then also I just like, in the beginning, Rand was kind of a boring character for me. However, once he started dealing, I think after book 3, when he started dealing like with his the madness and then like Luz Theron and all that, it just became so much more interesting, because he's not like, he is super powerful, but he's got like a lot of internal self-doubt. And that, to like, his internal conflict is what makes the character for me. Whereas like he was a little bit more kind of like stereotypical fantasy protagonist for the first couple books. I'm like excited to read about Rand now.
I don't think this is a I don't think this is a spoiler to say this. Rand is a character that I don't necessarily like. It is in like I don't like him. But I think personally that Rand is one of the best written fantasy characters I've ever written, like from beginning to end. And I don't think you truly get that until you follow his arc all the way. But I really, really think that Rand has the best arc of a fantasy character that I've ever read. My opinion.
I'm really interested to see how he ends up.
Real quick, I need to burn a witch. Hold on.
I didn't even know she'd take off the other one.
He's pretty slick with the wigs. He knows what he's doing. He's a wig expert now. Oh, I've never seen this one on. Oh my gosh. Wow. Wow.
Oh my
god. Where are the witches? Let's burn them.
Amazing.
Now, the best part of this wig is I've got like a Nae'Blis braid I can pull.
You can tug that when people get annoyed.
Okay, I can't be the only one who was waiting the entire season for Nae'Blis to tug on her braid.
Right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I was looking for it when trailers dropped. I was looking for it. I was like,
there was that moment, I think in episode 3 or 4, when she flipped her braid. I was like, this is about as close as I'm going to get. I want to see the tug.
Yeah. Well, there is a braid tug in the season, but it's like a lonely, sad braid tug. Like
I want an angry braid tug.
I know. I want an angry braid tug too.
Real quick, thank you, Rantel Moore. You love Rand. I really think you'll love the story arc. Now, it's interesting. So, like, of the books that you've read, there is I wouldn't call it universal fan favorite, but like, if you poll the community, it's interesting because the fan community typically loves one of the books that you read. Can you guess which it is? It isn't one of the ones you mentioned.
I think I think I saw that fans really loved The Shadow Rising book 4. Is that
That's
it?
True. That's the
Yeah.
one.
Yeah. And I'm
It's
in that.
weird.
Like I'm for me, book 4 and 5 are the ones that I constantly, I don't know which one I like better. I waffle between 4 and 5.
The interesting thing is I read that book, and for most of it, I wasn't not enjoying it, but it would like people were hyping it up, and it wasn't until the end that I was like, okay, so like I have my ratings for the books if you guys want to know the ratings.
I would love to hear them.
So
Yes.
the first book I rated 4 stars. The
Mhm.
Great Hunt I rated 5. The Dragon Reborn I rated 4. Shadow Rising and Fires of Heaven I rated 4. Lord of Chaos I rated 5. And Crown of Swords I rated 4. No, 3.
Yep, that's probably accurate.
That's it sounds about right.
No, and that is I think here's my opinion. I think Shadow Rising is the best of the books on a reread. When you fully understand more of what you are reading, you realize how genius it was and how it was written. Like my favorite scene is the way back to Rangrial, that he walks through in Rudian and he sees through the eyes of his ancestors. Like when you start to fully understand some of the lore and shit that's going on there, like it's really, really cool. Robert Jordan is the master. I have never seen anybody do foreshadowing better.
It's alarming. I can't even tell you how many times I've read these books. Like I literally could not. And it also doesn't make any sense because the books were still coming out when I was reading them. So there's some books that I've read like 20 times and other books I've read like 5 because of the time that it took for them to come out. But it is alarming how when I will reread a book to this day, I'll come across something and be like, oh, fuck. Oh, shit. Like I missed this foreshadowing.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
It really
I definitely
is.
want to do a reread of the series probably like way down the line because once I finish the series, I usually take a break from it until I've forgotten most of it, and then I'll go back and reread it.
See, this is one that you could, I actually think, and I'm not trying to tell you to do this because I understand you are a booktuber and you have to read other stuff, but I think you would benefit from an immediate reread. And I say that because there are things that you will catch that you would never have caught if you forgot everything. Like
I have a friend who started the series. She read Eye of the World and then went and read Eye of the World again and picked up stuff her second time through just the first book.
You will be shocked at how much is foreshadowed in Eye of the World that pertains to the last book.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So like that's what I'm saying. Like you'll catch that stuff. So real quick, hold on. We have to do a wig switch. Thank you, Shane.
Now, yeah. I don't know.
George Walker. It's Michael Jackson.
Do you qualify for
you guys
braid
can
watch?
tell me if this is Michael Jackson. I think it's just a mullet, but
yeah. Now you might not know about my braid watch
associate
videos.
Michael Jackson with mullets.
No, I don't either.
80s Michael Jackson.
I mean, everybody in the 80s, though. Like that's just.
I think of it actually more as you've seen The Princess Bride.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm looking for the 6-fingered man. You killed my father.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
You know what? I can see it.
Inigo Montoya. Absolutely. So I don't know if that makes you a braid watch contender, though. I made these videos where I did like a news program about the braids in the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So. I need a Viking beard to go with. Are you saying my beard isn't good enough? I think he is.
I think he's disparaging your beard.
Well, this wig does look the most. I just find this wig the most ridiculous.
Yeah.
But okay, so before we take a little shameless promotion break because I have a podcast called Tarvalon After Dark. Now, Jenny got a chance to hear earlier the world premiere of the commercial for this episode.
Fantastic! It's fantastic.
But I don't know. Should I play the commercial, Jenny? I don't know.
You should because it's so good. It's so
I don't
good.
know. I don't know. So first of all, Blake, I do a podcast with 2 other people. Rakapa Sedai from Wheel Talk, who is a drag queen Aes Sedai, and it is amazing. And then Jess, the Amerlin seat from the Amerlin Study YouTube channel. We do a podcast called Tarvalon After Dark. It is like half comedy bits and then half like serious discussion. So you should all check out Tarvalon After Dark. But normally on this, like our episode drops tomorrow morning, but we do some shameless promotion tonight. So I have to say, I think this particular commercial might be really pertinent right now. So
okay, let's do it. Roll it.
I think we'll go ahead and just play it. How about that?
Okay.
Are you someone who hates the Wheel of Time TV show with every part of your being? Do you spend all of your waking moments thinking about how you can get vengeance on those that made a TV show you didn't like? If so, you know how much trouble it can be to constantly be seeking out all of the places people talk about the Wheel of Time TV show on the internet and make shitty comments. You have to spend so much time looking for places to spew your shitty comments that you can't actually think about how god-awful and terrible the show was. What a drag. Introducing the White Cloak Comment Bot. The White Cloak Comment Bot uses a patented algorithm to find and comment automatically in every place on the internet at once, even the places no one fucking asked you. Here's how it works. The bot will create a procedurally generated comment that has randomized answers, so every comment you make will be the same, but different. For example, the bot will start each comment with a randomized number of the word woke. Then it will select a random number between 10 and 76 years that you have been reading the books to establish your credibility, followed by a randomized word choice on why you think the show is woke. Choices are cast is too dark, gay agenda, men bad, women good, and of course, liberal commie bullshit. Lastly, it will choose a random person associated with the production that you can blame for shitting all over Robert Jordan's legacy. The bot will also automatically detect if the content creator that posted something said even one positive thing about the show, and will make sure to let them know they are a sellout shill. Check out these examples.
Woke.
As a book fan who's been reading the books for
44.
years, this piece of shit is just another example of the
Gay agenda.
gone rampant. I blame
Harriet.
for shitting all over Robert Jordan's legacy. He is rolling around in his grave.
When did you sell out, you fucking shill? Enjoy the gravy train while it lasts. Woke.
As a book fan who's been reading the books for
59.
years, this piece of shit show is just another example of
Liberal commie bullshit.
gone rampant. I blame
Hillary Clinton.
for shitting all over Robert Jordan's legacy. He is rolling around in his grave.
The White Cloak Comment Bot. Because who has time to be an absolute horrible person without help from technology?
It's the Hillary Clinton that gets me. It's just so
That
good.
was brilliant. Amazing.
I blame Hillary Clinton. Oh my God.
The part that really truly makes that funny for me is the fact that that is literally the comments. Like,
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
that is the bullshit that I get every I'll get them on this video. Just go back and watch any video where I talk about the show, or any video where I
Yeah.
don't talk about the show.
Yeah.
I made a video on the ways and somebody commented, I hate the show. It's like, I don't recall asking you if you hated the show
Yeah.
or liked the
It's
show.
really interesting because
Like-
I don't like hate the show. There are things that I have criticisms of, and I think all the problems with the show have nothing to do with like the casting, the explicit queerness, the like all that kind of stuff. Like I thought that stuff was great.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Literal just like story issues, production issues that they had, stuff like that, you know.
Yeah.
Well,
But it is true though. Those are the like it's.
Oh yeah,
it's-
no, I've
it's-
seen them.
It's a
They're
formula. Like it's a formula. And those comments were coming before the show even came out.
Oh yeah, no, I
yes,
know.
they were. They just got
Yeah.
worse.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, yes. Unbelievable. Anyways, I'm gonna get so much hate for that. But
Yeah,
It was
but
amazing.
It's
Comedic genius.
fantastic. I also blame Hillary Clinton for the.
it is her fault. It is her fault.
Just that part. I cracked up again because it just sideswipes you. Like, what the hell?
Well, look. Let's be real. Rafe is Q told me all about Rafe. And
Antifa!
we're done.
Antifa did it.
Antifa did it. I forgot. That's when I should have thrown out there. Antifa did it. Okay. Let's talk about the Wheel of Time. So let's get to talking about some predictions here, because this I think can be fun. Like right now, Nynaeve's your favorite character, right?
Yes.
What's your favorite plot line to follow? Like, who's your favorite person to follow right now?
Okay, so let me run down the plots as I understand them at the moment from what I can remember. So the plot line that confuses me the most, as in I don't know where it's going, but like is like the whole thing with the bowl of the winds, and like the Terangrial. Like I'm like, cool, interesting. What is happening? Because we've spent at least a book and a half on it, and I'm like, can we like have it go somewhere? And so we'll see if it goes somewhere. With and again with Rand, he's in this. It's like every book, it focuses on a different one of his love interests, of which now he has 3. The show was really stupid by giving Egwene him like as a 4th love interest. I'm like, he has 3 other women. He doesn't need more. I'm really excited to see where that goes going forward in the show. But I think out of all, I actually love them all equally. They're all fantastic. I love them in different ways, though. Also, I think Aviendha is the most interesting, just because I love the Aiel. And also, I think that's why book 4 was maybe a little slow to me, because it was the book that really introduced the Aiel and like their whole culture, and it was just a lot to learn. And now a couple books in, it's like, okay, I know, I get it. And let me see. Okay, no thoughts, head empty.
Well, while you're thinking to replace your thoughts, I hate to spoil this for you, but I feel like it's so anticlimactic. I just need to tell you, the Bowl of the Winds is actually just used to smoke weed. Like, it's actually a bowl. That's it. Like,
is that the famous slump? Is they just they
get a circle of 13, and they all pack it.
Yeah. And they sit around and talk about their hands for like a really long time.
Yeah, it's
and the smoothing of the skirts.
Yeah, it's kind of, and the
skirts feel really good. They feel like they're so soft.
They cross their arms over their bosoms,
under their bosoms,
under their ample bosoms, and then they it's I'm sorry, I hate to spoil it for you, but that's where it's going.
Thank you for telling me. Well, it's gonna be a good time. Yeah, I'm really interested, honestly, in Mazrim Taim, the leader of the Ashaman, because he has this weird kind of like slightly respectful relationship with Rand, but also like I could kind of stab you in the back and have my own army. And so I'm kind of interested in where that's going, because the Ashaman are not necessarily like completely tied or loyal to Rand. They're more like, because Mazrim is the one who's like kind of training them and leading them. And like Rand is kind of like a hands-off leader right now, and I feel like that might come back to bite him in the butt a little bit. Also the I'm about to start Path of the Daggers for the people asking in the comments. So I'm up through book 7. But honestly, my favorite element of the entire series is the Forsaken. I love them so much. They're like little mini bosses that come out, and they all are just so fun and colorful, and like they're so fun. There
favorite Forsaken?
Yeah, I got to know, who's your favorite?
Yeah, who's your favorite Forsaken?
Okay. It's weird because I think he died in like the first book. He was the weird one with the mask. I thought he was so cool.
Balthamel?
Yes, I think.
Which one? No, because Balthamel didn't talk.
But
Well,
he
yeah,
had the
no,
carapace.
Agenor.
But he had,
Agenor.
Yeah, the carapace. I thought that was
Yeah.
really cool.
Okay.
And then
Baltimore didn't,
Agenor, the
yeah.
old man. I thought they were really cool. I really like oh my god, what's her name? Starts with an L. Or no, G.
Lanfear?
Grendel.
Grendel. Okay.
Grendel. She's fun.
Oh my! Well, yeah, that's one way to describe her.
Yes.
Well,
yes.
I just like the fact that I think it's because she's so kind of overtly scheming. I mean, they're all scheming against each other, but she's kind of like really playful and manipulative. And so seeing that is really fun. And I just want to see. Also, I want to see more with the Black Aja. I just love villains. I love bad guys, and the fact that there's a whole like mini power structure struggle underneath the big bad one, that is so interesting to me, and I love it. And then there was the one. Oh my god, that comment. There was oh my god, his name started with an A.
Asmodeus.
Yeah, Asmodeus. Yeah, he helped Rand
Yeah.
for a little bit, and then he died, and I still don't know who killed him.
Who do you think did it?
I don't know. Like, I think it might have been oh my god, the guy who was in charge of Tyr. Balal. Yes. Like
Balal
the
was
Lord
dead by
guy.
that
But
point.
I was gonna say Balal. Yeah, Balal was bail-fired by Moraine
Oh my gosh.
in book 3.
Well,
I'm thinking about somebody else.
If
No,
it makes you feel better, when the books were first coming
Mm,
out, how old are you?
I'm 23.
Oh God. Okay.
I had a bumper sticker on my car that said "I killed Asmodean" for a while. Like,
That was a major mystery when the books were being released, and it was not one that was like the actual. I'm not even going to say that.
yeah,
Because I might even give. I'm not going to say anything.
yeah.
But
Don't say anything.
Okay.
that was a major mystery throughout the books. So like. Now, supposedly, Robert Jordan said in an interview, because everybody used to ask him, okay? So I feel like I can say this because he said it while the books were coming out. He said,
I would be a dark friend.
you have enough information to find out who it is. Now,
And
I
I
think
know
that's
people who
bullshit,
figured.
but I do know people that figured it out.
Yeah,
So-
I know people who figured it out, and like, yeah, it's very aggravating. It's really aggravating.
It's so interesting because I almost feel like it could be an Aes Sedai or something, because like, you know, we're not at least I'm not entirely sure who all of the Dark Friends and who all of the Black Aja are, and so honestly that's so interesting to me too, because like you're never really sure who you can trust. I mean, they already don't trust each other, but then
are there any people that you think are Black Aja that we don't know specifically that are?
Or dark friends, like they don't have to be Aes Sedai, just any dark
or
friends.
any dark friends or anything like that.
Like not specific. Okay, I know for like, at least I think I know for sure that Alana is not. I think it would be really maybe interesting if Viren is one, because Viren is somebody who's kind of been around since the beginning, and she has appeared to be really like good at, or at least helpful. But honestly, like she hasn't really been in the last couple books as much, and so I'm like, what are you doing? Where are you going? You used to help us a lot. Where are you now? So I may be a little suspicious of her, just because like I know, you know, as a writer myself, like you try to, you know, play your hand a little bit and then like make it disappear, and then like, oh, surprise, you know. So I think maybe Viren. I don't think Katsuane is too. She's just like harsh. She's not evil.
I love that you love Cadsuane. Most people hate Cadsuane at this point. With what they know about her. Most people hate her.
Yeah.
Like
I am most people.
She like just came out, and I was like, okay, I love her.
I think I'm responsible for Shorehei, by the way. I think that's because of me. But
honestly,
anyway.
I think it's just because she just brings a new energy into the like Aja plotline, because there was a little bit, I think it was in the last book, not book 7 but book 6, where the Aja plotline started to feel a little bit stale with them at the camp, and there wasn't a lot of movement. Also, I love Suain. Suain is amazing. Yes, I love her a lot. Yeah, I love the Aja. They're honestly, they're all great.
Like
it's so interesting to me because I know like obviously I'm not a woman, but one of the big criticisms or that I see from some people is like they're like Robert Jordan doesn't know how to write women. And I was like, what do you like, at least in my point of view, I'm reading the books and I'm like, almost all my favorite characters are the women. So
well, Jenny's actually somebody has made a lot of commentary on that. Jenny, do you want to talk about what he just said?
Well, yeah, I wrote an article on Nae'Blis's website, The Great Blight, thegreatblight.com. You should check it out. Anyway, about poorly, like the criticism of poorly written women. I can tell you my experience. We were talking about audiobooks before. When I read a book, like just the page, I skim and I don't notice that I'm doing it. I don't do it on purpose. I will just like, this part isn't important. And I will just jump to the next paragraph. So I didn't know what any of the characters looked like until the audiobooks. And I was like, oh, Nynaeve's not a redhead. Like that was because I'd taken much more information that way. So when I listened to the audiobooks, I suddenly understood the criticisms that my friends had when I'd given books to friends and they'd give it. I literally had a friend give back The Dragon Reborn to me and said, I don't know why you like these books, Jenny. Like the author hates women, like, because all they do is fight with each other. They're really snippy. They are jealous of each other constantly. They obsess about other beautiful, like the stuff that there's stuff in there that is a issue. Like there's at least 2 scenes that I can think of where women enjoy being sexually harassed. Like it's
I mean it obviously it's not perfect, but I think I have like a filter when I read something by a white man. And I'm just kind of like
a straight white man. Yeah.
I'm gonna try to just like ignore some of the random sexism. Obviously, like I notice it, but unless it's like super, super bad, especially like books that are like older, because I read a lot of like older books too, and so sometimes you're turning a page and you're like, oh, I didn't expect to see that.
Yeah. But okay, the other, like the thing that I would end this with, like I just said a whole bunch of negative stuff. I
was going to say books. That's not what your comment was.
No, like I just said a bunch of negative stuff. Like I love these books. If you can get past that stuff, the women are to me way more interesting than the men. They are just like they are much more in depth. They have, to me, obviously there are people who don't agree with this, but they have more nuance, more. More the female Forsaken, for example, like the male Forsaken they all feel like the same characters.
Yeah, they're very interchangeable. Like that's why I have trouble remembering some of the male Forsaken sometimes, other than like how they're physically described. Like the one in Tyr, he was like a short lord, and I imagined him wearing a little cape.
Yeah.
There's the the old one, the one with Carapace.
Well, their backstories are all stupid. It's all like Luce Theron made me jealous, and so I decided to murder cities.
Yeah. Like they're interchangeable. It's the exact right word. But the female Forsaken are unique and interesting. And the female characters, I think, all have, like, Egwene has an amazing arc. Nynaeve, we all love Nynaeve. Nynaeve has an amazing arc. Moraine, like they're all amazing. You just have to, as you said, like that filter. You just have to be like, straight white man wrote this. Okay.
So I think I do think it's worth addressing right now because I personally don't feel like the slog. Have you heard of this? I'm assuming.
I've heard of the famous slog.
I don't think it's totally real like people think. And I don't want to get into spoilers or anything, but like you do know you're going into like the next 3 books are the ones where people would say, hey, it slows down. Now I would argue it doesn't really slow down. He just doesn't wrap things up as quickly as he should. Right.
Well, I mean, I this far in the series, I'm kind of used to that. Because like in the first couple books, it was like, okay, it was almost like we have to wrap this book up. And that's why I kind of remember those books as like the books. But then, they get a little bit more nebulous and then the plot lines start crisscrossing. And then so I'm just gonna have to finish the series. I love those books. There's a couple in there that are amazing. Like there's a couple amazing scenes that you're gonna read in the next few books. And I would argue though that like part of the reason is that we had to wait for so long for these books because like you just had to wait longer. I don't think it's as much of a slog when you can binge them. My personal opinion.
I was going to say, as a book eater, you should be fine.
Yeah. But I do think that the pacing is a little off for these books, but I will say don't ever, if for some reason that bothers you, I don't think it will, but if for some reason it did,
I don't think it does. Just
get
I
through it.
actually do really like Robert Jordan's like narration and his
Yeah.
style. And it's interesting to me because honestly, I did pick up this series because Brandon Sanderson is my favorite author. I
Mhm.
love the Cosmere. The Stormlight Archive is my favorite thing. I've
Yeah.
reread that series multiple times. And like I knew that he, finished off the series, but I also, he said the Wheel of Time was like this huge inspiration to him.
Mhm.
So I wanted to go back and like, read the inspiration for one of my favorite authors. And I was surprised at how much I fell in love with Robert Jordan's writing style.
Mhm.
His writing style is so evocative and descriptive. It really gives you a very good sense of like place
Yep.
and setting. And then the characters are just great. Like I was expecting more kind of stock boring characters going in, but I was just blown away by like and that's the reason why honestly I had a lot of problems with the TV show is because the characters in the books are so well drawn and they're
Yeah.
so specific that
Yep.
I'm like I'm like watching this, I'm like, that isn't the character. Even though like I don't remember all the details, I
Mhm.
just know in my bones like what the character is and what the character feels like,
Okay.
Mm.
Okay, we're gonna put you seriously on the spot here.
Okay.
Prediction for how the series ends. What do you think is gonna happen?
Okay. Well, obviously, I've heard about the famous 300-page final battle chapter.
Mhm.
So it's gonna be epic. I
Mhm.
know that.
What do you think happens before we get there? Like, tell me what you think is gonna play out.
Yeah. So I think I don't know what's gonna happen with Matt. I love Matt, by the way. Matt is fantastic. And Perrin too. I love
Mhm.
Perrin. I also don't like Perrin in the show, but that's a whole other thing. But I think I don't see, because they're kind of like they have their own little arcs. I'm not sure because Matt's thing with like his luck and
Yeah.
the dice, and I'm not sure where that's going. I kind of want to see more of like the like kind of mirror world, other dimension things that he
Mhm.
went into and met the two different races and he got his powers.
Mhm.
That's a whole thing. And I don't think we're talking about it enough. And I want to know more about it. Perrin and the Wolves. I think that plot line for me, it's almost kind of like, okay, he can like do the thing with wolves. And now it's more about how he can protect his loved ones and his friends. And I think I love Fail. She grew on me.
Good
But
answer.
I like their relationship and I like how she challenges him. And I
Yeah.
think that that's going to be a huge thing going forward. I think it would be very devastating. This is a prediction. If Fail dies and then Perrin has to like avenge her or something like that, like it would be that would if Perrin breaks, I break. So I'm just putting that out there. Egwene, I think, is going to be a fantastic Amarlin seat. I think she's going to have to deal with a lot more internal struggle with the Aja, not just with the Black Aja, but also I honestly think that Suan might be a little bit of a challenge for Egwene, because like we're starting to see at this point in the series, Suan is starting to like get back some of her Amarlincy energy. Like she was a little kind of meek and like grateful for a while, and now she's like, oh no, I'm gonna scheme. And so I think her scheming maybe not directly like be against Egwene, but I think she might undermine Egwene a little bit. With Rand, I don't know if he's gonna pick one girl. I think it might just be a polyamory type situation.
Attempted polyamory, yes.
Yeah, we'll see. I definitely think we're gonna get more of the drama of the women being jealous, just because I think that's how it's gonna go. So not looking forward to that. I do think that Rand will eventually die. I think at least with like a big fantasy series, like I don't think there's a way I think he might like do a thing where like he defeats the Dark One and then also dies in the process.
Okay.
So I mean, we'll see. I don't know. But and also he's just he's deteriorating fast, and it's not even it's like halfway through the series. So I'm like, this man is just gonna be nutballs bananas at the end of, you know,
nutballs bananas. That is nice.
Well, I don't know.
description.
I don't know what other thing to say, because I think that's just how he's gonna be.
Yeah.
Good night,
so,
Sherry.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yes.
you.
So like, okay, so you think Rand is likely going to die. Is there any like
Yes.
predictions for who survives, who dies, who lives?
I think I want in my heart for Lan and Nynaeve to survive, just because if anything happens to either of them, it will destroy me.
Destroy, yeah, I can see
devastated.
that. Yeah.
I think that Matt is gonna survive by, you know, his luck thing. Perrin, I could see like sacrificing himself for some, like he would do that. He would, if there was a situation where in the final battle or whatever where he had to sacrifice himself to like have Rand do something to like save the world, Perrin would do that, no questions asked. And with Egwene, I don't know. I feel like Egwene is gonna be like the one in charge after everything. Like after the dust settles, like Egwene is gonna be the one to pick up the pieces to try to put the world back together again. If anything. So
Okay.
Yeah.
Who anybody else you think will die?
Well, Moraine is supposedly dead, and I'm not sure if that's true or not, because it's been 2 books, and I know I have a lot of books left, and she could pull a Gandalf, but also it seems pretty final, so I don't know. Like in my heart, I'm like, oh yeah, Moraine's not dead. But then like after 2 books of the characters being like, yeah, I'm sad Moraine's dead. Yeah, Moraine's dead. I'm like, is she dead? So I don't know. I feel like if she's not dead now, she'll probably come back and then die again later. But
that would be really okay. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to think of other characters. Well, I think all the Forsaken are gonna die at some point. You know, it's like the mini bosses, they gotta go down. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to take I'm going to come back and we're going to have a few more comments. I think everybody's earned another commercial, mainly because I think Blake needs a little bit more of a taste of. So we're going to go ridiculous. We'll just go straight up fucking ridiculous. Here we go.
Hey, Tarvalin residents. Are you and your special someone struggling in the bedroom? Is the fire gone? Do you need some adventure to reignite your love life? Nothing will set your groins ablaze more than a visit to Erotica Sedai's Pleasure Palace. Erotica Sedai's Pleasure Palace offers the finest and most luxurious intimacy-themed ter'angreal. How can Erotica Sedai help? Well, I'm sure you've heard of a red rod ter'angreal. Well, the Pleasure Palace carries 3 sizes: standard, Aiel, and of course, for you adventurous ones, Ogier. Hey guys, embarrassed that your bits and pieces are a bit too small? Well, you need Erotica Sedai's specialized mirror of Miss ter'angreal. It will have you looking like the Tower of Genji. While we're on the subject, guys, you ever wonder if she's faking it or not? Well, Erotica Sedai has this patented Keeper of the Chronicles figurine ter'angreal. When she hits her climax, the ter'angreal will play trumpets and announce, "She comes, your Amerlin seed," telling your special lady that she's the most important woman in the world. And of course, letting you know that you did your job. And I'm sure you've heard of Dreamweave ter'angreal rings. Well, the Pleasure Palace has ring ter'angreals that will help you stay in the mood all night. And for a limited time, Erotica Sedai is offering a once-in-a-lifetime discount. If you book your session here in the next week, you and your significant other can get your very own specialized fantasy dream shard session for 50% off. Erotica will use her dreaming skills and create the fantasy of your dreams. You want to watch him with a Trolloc? Anything is possible. So come on down to Erotica Sedai's Pleasure Palace. You can find us right next door to the Thirsty Tinker Inn in the Tarvalin Red Light District near North Harbor. Once you come see us, you'll never have a problem coming again.
You are
Blake?
ridiculous. You are ridiculous.
Amazing.
Blake is like, what the hell did I get myself into?
Hey, it's a good spoof. I always love when when creators are able to take like something and like keep it in line with the actual like magic and the world and stuff, but make it ridiculous. So
Yeah.
Look,
definitely
that's our entire podcast. So like these people here are used to it at this point. So okay, Blake.
yes.
First of all of these people, I'll say this. I think hearing you talk, like, not only is it really cool to watch you talk about Wheel of Time, but I feel like you're really insightful. Like in the same way that I view Jenny, like people should be following you. So everybody make sure that you go follow Blake. Here's this again. Cool graphic.
Nice graphic.
Make sure to subscribe to Blake on YouTube. Where can they find you on Twitter?
Yeah, Twitter and Bookstagram both are at Blake Book Eater. And I'm also on TikTok now too. So all of everything.
All of the places.
Yeah,
I can't figure out TikTok.
Yeah, me either.
I honestly just downloaded it like 2 weeks ago, and I'm just having fun making book memes on TikTok. It's nothing crazy.
Nice.
Well, I say that, and then last week or 2 weeks ago, somebody was like, Nae'Blis making OnlyFans, and I'm like, I don't think any of y'all want to see that, but like, I mean, if you insist, I'll just post feet pics, and people will pay for that shit, right?
That's true.
Like I'm waiting for the end of a YouTube video where like a creator goes and check out the OnlyFans. Links in the description. Like and subscribe. See ya. Like
I bet you it's already happened.
Oh, yeah.
Just yeah.
Definitely.
Well, there we go. Yeah. So, anywho, don't expect that anytime soon, people. Not happening. Okay. Last thing I wanted to mention, because Jenny will be there. I don't think Blake will unless he wants to. WotCon is coming up in July. What is WotCon, you might ask? WotCon is a Wheel of Time based convention with some special guests. Daniel Green will be there. Michael and Kate Redding, the audiobook readers for Wheel of Time. Jenny can't wait to meet them.
I am such a huge fan of theirs. I can't even talk about it.
It is for book readers. It is for show watchers. It is for anybody that likes Wheel of Time. It will have a very interesting program set. There are some other interesting guests that will be a part of this that we'll announce later. So if you are interested in WotCon, head to wotcon.com. We still have tickets available, and make sure to come. I think that is it for the show, guys. Thanks for coming out. Thanks for coming on. You guys were awesome guests. We'll have to do this again.
Thanks for having me.
It's fun.
It was lovely to meet you, Blake.
Lovely to meet you guys too.
Yeah. So hey guys, you two hang out for a second, and we will see you all later. Right after this is over, we will hop into Discord as we normally do and just kind of have an after show. When I say we, I mean they do not have to. So, but if they can, if they want. Yeah, we'll hop into Discord and we'll have a chat. So thank you guys for joining, and talk to you.